Technical difficulties ahead, apologies ahead of time. More explanation and adventure here after the intro. So, as I'd said, we had a bit of technical difficulty with the first playthrough. It did not take on record, so we're back to do this again. And as you can see, the mail very much read this time, but it's still in the offline section, and it comes from Shugo, titled The Sage Wise Man. It says there's a man in the world, a player named Wise Man who knows everything. A friend of his knows his whereabouts. We'll meet everyone at Carmina Gadalica. So without further ado, let's log in and see what the deal is. Grabbing our boy Gogs. Still at the Tendril level 27. Meant to level him up this week, and well, them's the breaks. Just did not get an ample opportunity, and that is on me. My apologies. Here in Carmina Gadalica, though, gonna log in and immediately be warped into a cutscene. There you see Shugo and Rina flanking a very familiar wave master to fans of the Dot Hack universe. They're referring to her as Mirelle, who is the player they would know with that character model. And if you're familiar with Legend of the Twilight, if you're familiar with the series that Shugo and Rina are from, then you would know them as that as well. However, she points out that she is Mistral, in fact Mirelle's mother, who always played as a little kid and doesn't want everyone to go shouting about that she's a mom. So a little bit of banter back and forth between Shugo, Rina, and Mistral to set the scene. Mirelle is apparently banned from the world until schoolwork is done, and that's a very valid lesson, kids. Take care of your priorities. Mirelle, although doing very well in school, and this is a chance for Mistral to log on as well, and for some reason to keep gyrating like some sort of domestic fowl. What is with that neck motion? Shugo then asks her where the wise man is. Get ready to see that joke a bunch. Rina says we're looking for Kite. He's disappeared. Mistral says I'm sorry, since Mirelle started playing, she hasn't got a chance to play much. Mistral says, I see, Kite's missing. Thinks about it for a second, once again while making disturbing head motions. She says, I understand. I'll take you to Wise Man. Maybe he's a chiropractor too? Like, she just seems uncomfortable. She goes, and you're coming with us. Noticing we're in the group, gives us her member address and says, well then, let's go. I'll warp us there using my special secret item that may be causing this odd tick. That said, we did get Mistral's member address, and that is fantastic, as Mistral is probably one of the best characters in IMOQ. Certainly my wave master of choice in party. She goes ahead and warps us to Pulsating Truth's core, which, if you're familiar with the series, is the location of one Net Slum. The odd discarded bits and remnants of the world over time collected here as a sort of safe haven. Mistral calls out, Wise Man, I brought friends. And Wise Man comes in with the most monotone fashion ever. Goes, Mistral, you're the same as ever. Shugo asks, are you the Wise Man? Wise Man? Says we're looking for Kite. Do you have anything for him? So that's 2 on the counter for that joke. Wise Man then goes, a trade is give and take, even if it's just information. Shugo's a bit confused by what trades are. Rena then goes on to once again explain what a trade is. Wise Man agrees, says he set up some tests for us, because clearly he knew we were coming. Shuya says, "What, a test? I didn't log in for school," and then Rena scolds him for being 6. Wise Man says, "First you'll need to obtain an item called Proof of Justice at Melting Regretful Makeup. This will cause Wise Man to be able to emote when he speaks," and we really missed that. Actually, I do love the deadpan delivery, I just can't do it. Wise Man goes, "However, there is one condition. I will specify your party members." And in comes Pyros and Silver Knight. Pyros does the whole "ye of fair eyes" thing, which is fine. I mean, Pyros is always a good time, even if he is weird as heck. And then Silver Knight is pining over Lady Subaru. This is not helping. But hey, at least he pledged his loyalty to a faction that no longer exists, even in the game's lore. We get their member addresses so as to add them to our party and not the super useful Wave Master who teleported us here. And now Shugo and Rena decide to hurry along, even though they're not even going on this quest. Good to know they're excited. We pop out, and Balmung pops in, because the wet blanket count isn't high enough yet. Mistral says, "I didn't know you were here. That's the point of warping in after." Wise Man asks how the Chosen One seems. Balmung says he can't say anything just yet, because that would be useful. But when the battle against the world distortion occurs, we'll need the help of the Chosen One. Wise Man and Balmung continue to speak vaguely right against this beautiful, beautiful skybox. And then they warp out, giving us one lasting shot before we come right back to the city that never sleeps, but always seems drowsy. And also like the backdrop for Law and Order. So here we are, and there is Pyros, and there is Wise Man, right next to the Chaos Gate. Immovable reminders that our party is about to get very, very weird. Pyros says, "You must be a good judge of character if you're calling on me for a mission of truth and justice." Ha 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 ha! Think he forgot where we were basically told to take them. But what the hell, he's enthusiastic. So let's go ahead and see what Silver Knight has to say. Oh, look, it's more for Lady Subaru. Silver Knight, once again, not helping. Bad wet blanket. But add them to the party we must, and so add them to the party we must. We'll go ahead and throw Silver Knight in the middle here, because if we put him on the far right end, he'll probably go off chasing Lady Subaru or anyone with that player type model if he sees their shadow. Pyros then takes the right flank of this little party portrait scene, even though it's a free roaming adventure and we aren't sticking to formations for Jack. Looking at the words list, Melting Regretful Makeup is, oh my god, it's a level 43 field and we are level 27. This should be fine. Just fine. In we go. Daytime Desert Field, Snaky Cactus should be your... No, I think it's Oh No Melon, which is very fitting. Should be your grunty food. We're not going to check. We're going to buff right the F up, though, and hope to get right to the dungeon. Sure, we could ride Noble Grunty there, and that would be a very safe play, but we might as well test out what we're going to face, huh? Okay, not so bad so far. Risky Treasure, Fortune Wire, we could certainly handle that, and we're making sure to stay well clear of that other portal as we grab an almighty wand. Here comes what looks like a starving ogre. And was that Grand Electric as well? Did I? Yeah, that's Grand Electric. So we've got some casters and some magic tolerant baddies here. Picking up some good experience though, so maybe, just maybe, if we play our cards right, we may get that level by the final floor. That would be the hope, just to be that much more capable for whatever is standing between us and the proof of justice. Right now we know we've got some heavy hitters and a good mix of melee and magic battlers to face as far as the monsters go. Let's go ahead and heal up. Pyros is giving us rep, and Silver Knight is not helping. Seriously, you really have to hold Silver Knight's hand to make him useful. Gonna go ahead and change. Let's head into the dungeon now. Changed up my armor basically to save up on mana there. As you can see, we've got a fair bit of a climb to go to level 28, but with the added numbers we should be getting from this very steep level gap, it's a feasible gain for a level in this dungeon. But yeah, as nice as Megan ROM has been to me, I feel like mana conservation is priority, and we are getting better stats overall out of the heavy armor. So the armor switch, very useful. There's a Fire Tempest out of the chest, and a recovery drink. Pulling nicely so far as we get to the first dungeon portal. It's going to give us yet another Starving Ogre. Once again, completely magic tolerant, so all we did really was slow him down. Gonna let the Grand Electric roam a bit as we all party up on the Ogre, get him out of the way. Now we're just gonna cast Ganrom to sort of hold the Grand Electric in place, let Pyros get to, and Silver Knight's standing behind us, isn't he? Okay, let's let Silver Knight know what direction the battle is, because he's once again not helping. Make it through, time to heal up just a skosh. Crack open this warrior's body that gives us a Granada, and now let's move on. As I said, I did have the benefit of playing through this before, so I kinda know the dungeon layout, and I know that bottom is just a dead end for us. We don't want to spend too much time around here if we could help it, so we'll stay to the upper right side and work our way to the stairs down. Got a couple Frankens here, and they're pains because they've got the dying ability that you just saw on full display against the wettest of blankets, and they've got the paralyze ability, which has us cruising to nap time as this battle draws to an end without us. Look at Pyros go, though. Dragging his blanketness back to us. We heal up, and now it's time to once again heal up. We'll be nice enough to heal up Silver Knight. Pyros could take care of himself with a couple baby reps. Kimura out of that chest, and just like that, we are moving on. Hear the cry of a bloody egg looking for a good home, so we shove it in the magical extra dimensional space that we keep all of our grunty food in. Because that's a thing. Get the Hanged Man out of the chest, which seems really disrespectful on several levels, before moving further down to yet another level. Healing Potion out of the egg, and Summon Fire out of the chest. Nothing else to be gained out of this room except for passage to the next, which leads us to the stairs down, and before you know it, we're in floor number 2. Yet another big giant hallway full of odd bones poking out. Let's go ahead and take a moment to appreciate just how long that walk was and how much longer it could have been without the speed charm. Fairy's investigating the area as Pyros finally makes it up here. Thank goodness he's got an oxygen tank stored in that mecha suit he's wearing as armor. Now that our buffs are all refreshed, time to crack some eggs. Not that we're making omelets, it's just good target practice. Pick up a restorative for our efforts. Coming out of the portal, we got Temple Knights. Once again, magic resistant. Once again, hard hitters. And part of that series that have the shield ability, I believe, for no damage if you're not lucky. Now, one thing I do know is that they can life drain on hits, and that they really don't like Silver Knight. So, there goes a heck of a lot of damage. Silver Knight gets to critical, we get to critical. Somehow we all live through the battle. Pick up a golden egg for our troubles. Healing once again abounds. This is not going to be an easy day for the restoratives or the healing spells, especially since we've just got Ulrep on a limited pool and Rep. Coming up next is yet more Temple Knight action here. Seems to be just one against the three of us though, so it shouldn't go too terribly. And Temple Knights aren't really known to run when in solo combat, so the battle is actually rather anticlimactic. We take a fair shot, but it goes down because three people whacking away at it is not going to take too long to resolve. Picking up the Hanged Man out of that chest. And a Darkness Hood. Really nice selection of items thus far. Yet another Fire Tempest to add to the pile. Next portal gives us a pair of Grand Electric from the looks of things. Just doing what we can to hold things in place, and Silver Knight just watches the Grand Electric go away. Silver Knight, for about the fourth time just since we got to the field, not really helping. Granted, he technically landed the kill shot there, but it was as we'd already cast Scanrom. That Grand Electric was as good as dead. Silver Knight, so far, one in the useful column, at least a half dozen in the not helping, counting the cutscene. Yes, I'm counting constantly pining after Lady Subaru as well as not helping. More Temple Knights here in this little T-shaped room before we can get a view of the stairs down to the next floor. Also have a treasure room on the opposite end. Probably want to loot that because items are nice and sell for good cash. Saw a little bit of life drain out of the Temple Knight, but not enough to save it. Hi-ho, hi-ho, a healing we will go.
Bloody egg.
Pick up the bloody egg, even though we ran the wrong direction, because it just feels wrong to let it sit there. Picking up a healing potion, really nice because that's our current shortcutted consumable. Fireball Storm, also welcome. There's a Meteor Swarm. And some great ASMR clips if you want to break them out. Eggs cracking. Sorry, it's ASMR. Eggs cracking. That's better. Floor number 3. More big giant hallway, more pointy rib bones. More buffs about to be refreshed, more fairies investigating the map for us. Now this is a rarity in either online or offline. This is actually a floor I could potentially get through without any conflict whatsoever. Got this hub room here, it's got a treasure room off to the right, it's got a couple rooms down to the bottom, including the sole portal in this floor, but that portal does not lead us in the direction of the exit. So if we wanted, we could just skip this all, go straight left, say no time for this noise, and head down to floor number 4. That said, I would like to use what I was going to use. Well, I'll probably still use it as the title. No, I think Not Helping is a better title, but the tentative title I came up with when I saw this party and the fact that we had a wise man conversation was Fortune Favors the Bland. And that's very much the sentiment I'm taking into this. Eschewing what little danger we could have avoided and just going after the portal, and we're rewarded with a summon fire. It turned out to just be a treasure chest. Actually get a pair of summon fire out of that room, so literally Fortune favored the bland there. We could have just taken the easy way out, but we took the We took the difficult road and were rewarded for our choice handsomely. Picking up one more restorative and getting that lovely little tone that comes when you try and move through the door with a message still up. And before you know it, we are in the 4th floor. Not so big a hallway, just a couple ribs here. Go ahead and get the map fleshed out and buffs back up, because it just wouldn't feel right if we didn't. Next portal. Got more Temple Knight action and a pair of Frankens that go right to work paralyzing Silver Knight. Let's go ahead and get him back up and active, because even though he has been far from the most helpful, he's soaking up hits like a champ and occasionally hits for decent damage. There goes a failed paralyze attempt by the Franken. Finishing up this battle nicely. And again, handsome experience to follow. Getting a lot of experience. Gonna skip that top side room because it doesn't really give us too big a benefit here. And oh, there's the sound we needed. All sorts of magic ain't working as we hit a trifecta of Temple Knight. Temple Knights. Just kind of locking them in place till we can find a target. I believe the first Temple Knight is fallen, and we're in relatively good health. Pyros just tanking like a champ there, down to 284 health, but hanging in. Temple Knight 2 is down. We get into critical health, but nothing a healing potion can't fix. Continue to soak up some blows until finally get the deed done. We'll go ahead and put a second mark there in the useful column for Silver Knight there. He was not a visible obstruction for our party's progress there. That may be the nicest thing I've said about him this adventure. Picking up the moon out of that chest and the levers out of this one. Got one more portal on this floor, and it's going to give us a Dalagon. Exactly the kind of monster we want to be facing here. It's a big giant dragon. That gives us a 3-on-1 battle, and because it is so giant, I could actually run my happy backside around to its unhappy backside and avoid that mean old fire breath. We all take turns hacking away with our sharp objects o' choice, and eventually Dalagon falls and experience is gained. It's 35 big ones for us, actually. Nice gain indeed. Have Pyros apply the heal and touch to Silver Knight as we move forward. Got a whole bunch of treasure chests to pick up. Number 1 gives us a meteor swarm. Pick up a healing potion on our way to hack through to number 2, giving us another meteor swarm and a dote there. And we've got a clear view of chest number 3, 1 restorative later, and we're opening it for a demon cloak, not a meteor at all. Swarm form or otherwise.
Bloody egg!
Hear a bloody egg here, and it just seems like a crime to leave a good bloody egg behind, so we'll grab that bloody egg and we will make our way to the 5th floor. Bottom floor of this dungeon here. Flesh it out, you see a double portal room there. Now in the first playthrough, I completely skipped that room, because again, we're severely under-leveled for this place, but coming through and knowing what I've faced thus far, I decided to sort of give it a go, and if there was any pause to be had, it was the start of this battle where 2 Frankens paralyzed myself and Silver Knight right quick and in a hurry. That said, Pyros pulling MVP duties here. Manages to hold out until the paralyzation wears off and even removes one of the offending Franken for us. Also have a Grand Electric back there just to kind of be a dick. We're all just sitting there trying to, you know, hack at each other at close range like civilized warriors, and Grand Electric spinning around on a little force ball throwing lightning bolts everywhere. Rough battle. Honestly, that was probably the toughest battle, at least to this point in the dungeon. I think I could safely say. Pick up the levers here. And like I said, there's nothing to do but throw caution to the wind and check out the double portal room. Not my favorite spawning here, as we get 3 Grand Electrics, and that's really kind of the fear here. See, one of them drifts off to the back, and we don't want to give chase right away, because if we do, it'll pop that second portal. Fortunately, we are able to take down the first 3 Grand Electrics. Fourth one goes for a speed down, doesn't work, and we're sort of let off the hook. Where it could have been another swarm to get us in all sorts of trouble, it's another Dalagon. So we've got 1 dragon versus 3 heroes again, and a tale as old as time. We're just surrounding the beast and hacking at it till it falls. Fire Breath really putting in work here for Dalagon, but again, it's nothing healing potions can't solve, and the party manages to take it down before it could target us with the infernal flames. Pyros repthing away as we go for a fortune wire to open this risky treasure. Dropped by the dragon, giving us a midnight helm. That is the helm that gets us to midnight. Dumb sentence there. Wish I wouldn't have recorded that, but it's already in. Pick up bloody and golden eggs there. Double portal, double egg. That's the statement of the Gruntmint in a fire field somewhere. Actually have this whole intricate setup with 3 small rooms, then 2 of the 90-degree turn rooms at the bottom of this layout that I absolutely love, as well as several interconnected sections in this corridor, which is another thing you don't get to see a whole lot. I completely talked through this battle to point out features of this floor that we'll be skipping because you could sort of take a straight line from here to the end. Gonna make sure everybody is relatively healed though. Grab this treasure chest as well. It's a Fire Tempest, and those are always beneficial to sell. Next portal's gonna give us a Dalagon, and we love hacking us some dragons. Very close to our experience mark here. So the hope is to finish this intact and be alright. Dragon takes a couple chunks out of us as Silver Knight. Mostly Pyros, but occasionally Silver Knight as well. Hacks away at Dalagon. He wasn't really helping there, but I suppose he wasn't hurting, so we'll just sort of skip that. Do get our levels, so now Gog's level 28 as we head into the big challenge. But first we'll take a detour to grab some bone armor and a healing potion, and nothing else. Couldn't remember if that was a 3-for-3 room or not. So we've got one more small room here for potential setup, and there you see the neon purple particle fog of doom floating up from the ground. Walk into this otherwise empty square room, and we see an infected harpy line of monster. Pyros says, "What's this? A strange monster?" You don't scare Pyros because he's already seen like a dozen of them. Silver Knight, "In the name of Lady Subaru and a faction that no longer exists, I will continue to pine after someone who's probably half my age in a video game." Silver Knight, still not helping. One thing that is helping us, though, is that this Harpy Queen is wood tolerant, which means it is wood element and weak to earth. Ganrom coming in huge for us. Pyros and Silver Knight bodying up as we practice our casting heavy blade ways from earlier levels. Get Virus Coro on the data drain, and now it's just regular old birdie we gotta swat out of the sky. Take it down to half health between initial attacks in the first Gan-Rom. Second Gan-Rom is an elemental hit, and that bird is nothing anymore. Pyros laughs his head off and starts taunting a dead thing. Silver Knight asks us to just get the proof of justice, as he is so relieved we got through the battle he didn't even mention Lady Subaru. And there's the proof of justice. Pyros allows us to take the spoils of war, even though it's a key item and not a tangible item at all. Get another cutscene here where Pyros says, "Ah yes, the proof of justice, a simple task for me, even though it wasn't yours." Silver Knight back to calling for Lady Subaru as though, she was actually going to come this time. Pyros bids us a fond farewell and uses one of those single person only cutscene sprite ocarinas. Silver Knight has much training to do, again, for Lady Subaru. This brings us to the end of a very, very dangerous journey. Hopefully you enjoyed it. There is the proof of justice. Proof is in the pudding, or in this case, the key item slot. Now let's grab our own single-person sprite ocarina. This has been a Grumpy Old Guy Gaming with another edition of the Weekend Warrior. Take care wherever you are, whatever you're doing. We'll see you around.